Bass players rejoice! AmpHub now has a bass amp. It's called the Graviton, and we are gonna check it out in this video. All right, we're gonna jump straight into the DAW and just check out the Graviton, but first, signal chain is from my Schecter Elite SLS 5-string bass with the Fishman Fluent Soap Bar bass pickups in it, going into the Behringer Ultra DI Pro, into the Focusrite Scarlett audio interface, into the Mac, into the DAW, and then we're in AmpHub. So with that, very first thing I want to do is just orient you with the DI signal of this bass. There is no processing on this. That's a lie. There are some things happening here in like the master bus for EQ and different things, but on this actual bass track, there is nothing on here. I have you can see AmpHub is off, and I have the EQ down here in the corner just so you can see the frequencies that this is coming in at, and that this is after the amp, so when I turn it on, you can see the difference as well. So with that, here is the DI signal from this bass. All right, now let's listen to the Graviton. I've got it engaged. I have not touched any of the settings. This is just out of the box. Here we go. Not a massive difference. So let's go ahead and start playing with some of these settings. So the very first thing I know I'm gonna wanna do is turn up the gain. I want this thing sounding dirty. Let's just see what that sounds like. Not a whole lot different yet, but let's keep going. So let me just crank it all the way up. You can really hear it up there, up high. All right, let's pull that back down. And let's see here. See what happens. Play some of this EQ, turn up the clang. Sounding dirty. All right, let's see. So we've got a blend here. So we've got a drive and a clean. So if we pull it all the way to drive, and then all the way to clean. Okay. So let's see if we can make this clean here a little bit. A little bit more crisp. All highs. Let's see. Ooh, that got louder. Way too much. All right. Let's see. Thick. What's that when we turn it all the way down? And all the way up. Definitely has a bit more low end. I don't know what more it's doing other than just adding low end. All the way down. Let's see, bring it back up a little bit. Sharp. All the way down. And all the way back up. Let's see if we can to drive it. And blend them together. It's sounding nice and dirty now. And I like it's got, you know, you can really hear the pick attack. You've got that kind of clang in there. I guess, you know, I'm assuming this is probably helping with the pick attack here with the clang. Sounds like it. Let's see, balance. Sounds like towards the left it adds more mids over here. And over here might be more scooped, or let's see. Try it again. Maybe. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Does that sound more scooped to you? On the right, here's the left. And on the right. Maybe a little bit more scoop. All right, so let's see. Man, that sounded pretty dang good right there. I like it. It sounded nice and dirty. It's got a good clang. Sounds good. Some nice low end. That sounded pretty dang good. So I haven't even touched anything but the amp. So let's go ahead and jump into the IRs, because there are new IRs here as well. So there's 6x10 IRs, and we're on the 112 microphone. So let's just kind of click through these. So this is the 112 and this is the 202. And while I'm doing this, I'm kind of watching the EQ on the bottom just to see how the frequencies change, because I haven't touched the mic, just the IR. So that was the 202. Let's go back to the 112 and compare. (202). Not a massive difference in the frequency response anyway, so let's go to the 421.2. This one, it looks like it's adding more mids by the EQ. This one looks like it has more mids. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just seeing things. See, 421N. Dynamic 57. (906). And that's all of them. All right, so let's see. Let's go back to the 112 at the first one. I kind of like this one. It's got a nice low end, and I hear the nice crispy top to it. I think this one's my favorite so far. Let's see what happens if we move this thing more towards the cone. And now way out to the edge. Yeah, when we go out to the edge, it adds a ton of low end. So I wonder if we did something like blending a couple of these. So let's say we do, I don't know, let's try 57, right? Let's do this one kind of near the cone. And then we'll do the 112 maybe out towards the edge just a little bit and see. So this is the 57. And then the 112 was over here. All right, and then blending them together, we get this. Not bad, not bad. I kind of like that. Not bad. Sounding dirty, still has the clang. Nice low end from this 112 that's out here near the edge. Sounding pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, just in a few minutes of playing around with this thing, messing with some IRs and some of the gain settings in the drive channel, blending this with some of the clean, I'm already digging this thing just the way that it is right here. It's got a nice low end, nice crispy top on it with the, especially you can get that pick attack. It's got that dirty sound to it from the gain in the drive channel. I'm digging it. But my ultimate favorite setup by far when it comes to bass is to split at 200 Hertz. So you've got 200 Hertz and down as just basically a DI signal. And then 200 Hertz and up is where you run it through the amp with your distortion and all of that. And the reason is for that is, and I've mentioned this in other videos as well, but if you're new to this, I'll mention it here again. And the reason is because when you run anything through an impulse response, really, but especially a bass, what I've found is you lose a lot of like the real low end of the bass. And so you can see that here. If you watch this EQ down here, so right here, this is going through the IR, you know, through the amp and then through the IR. And watch the low end. Watch how we don't really get anything, you know, below like maybe 30 Hertz. You see that? Like maybe it peaked at just about 20, but that's it. Nothing below. Now, if I disable the AmpHub altogether, so there's now the signal is not running through an amp and no IR, now watch what we get. Immediately notice we've got a lot more of that low end in there. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, that's almost inaudible, right? Like that's at below 20 Hertz, it's just nonsense at that point. And that's where you and I are going to disagree, because I'm not adding a ton of that super low end, but every mix that I've ever heard where I just run a bass through an amp and IR like this, and I lose all that super low end beef, if you will, it just the whole bottom end just falls right out of the mix. So for me, I want the DI from the bass so I can keep that super low end beef of my mix held together. And so the way I did that, as I've explained in the past, is I have this amped signal and then the DI signal. And what I'm doing here is cutting. This is my DI signal, so I'm cutting at about 200 Hertz and below. And then on the amped signal, we are doing about 200 Hertz and up. And then you can see the amp settings I've got here. And we're going through the raw, which I believe is based on an old, the rat, I believe is what it was called. And so we've got a little bit of distortion going on with this going then into the amp, all on the clean channel. So our distortion is coming from the raw pedal. and then we go through the IRs, and in this case I'm using the 421N kind of near the cone, because I don't need a lot of low end here. This is just the upper end, which is going to have the dirt and the bite and the distortion and all that. And then my low end comes from this here, where you can see I've got the IRs turned off. So I am still going through the amp so that I can kind of tailor it a little bit. And I'm going all clean here as well. And you can see I've got the emphasis moved towards the low end to kind of really push the bass. And then, but we're not going through the IR so we don't crush the super low end. All right, and here's an example of what this sounds like with the DI bass down low and then the amp signal kind of up high above 200 Hertz. Mix them together and you get this. So there you go. That's that really dirty, distorted bass tone that I'm a huge fan of. And because when you throw it in a heavy mix like what I've got going on here, this is what you get. All right, everyone, that is the Graviton and some of the quick tones that I threw together here in just a few minutes. Hit me in the comments and let me know your thoughts on the Graviton and these tones that I've put together. And if you like this video, hit that like button right down below, share it with a friend. And if you are watching this and are not subscribed to my channel and you like this content, go ahead and hit subscribe. That's right down below. Don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. And as always, thank you for watching and thank you for your support.